Hello there and welcome back to another edition of the Hot Lap Classic Remastered. This time I'm taking a look at the 1999 Peugeot 406 Sedan. Perhaps one of my favourite Peugeots of all time. It's definitely up there. I mean, there's a lot of good 90s Peugeots. And the 406 is very much up there along with the 306 and the 106. I love this thing. I think it looks superb. Apparently they drive really nice. They're just good cars. And weirdly, you can say that for a lot of the French saloon cars of the time, apart from maybe the Laguna, because, you know, I'd want one of these. I love the Citroen Xantia. You know, they made some great saloon cars, and this was definitely one of them of all time. Interesting to note, in this game, the 406 Sedan is not a V6. I, for the longest time, always thought this car was the V6, because this game has the 3-litre 406 Coupe. But no, it's actually a 2-litre 16 valve in-game, which is weird considering it has obviously the BTCC inspired race mod, and cars like the Mondeo and the Laguna, they're the V6 versions, the top of the line, whereas for some reason the 406 isn't. Which is a bit bizarre, but there you go. Maybe they were trying to differentiate a little bit, I'm not too sure. What I do know is this one, not one of my favourite BTCC liveries of all time, I've got to be honest. I was never a big fan of this sort of gold and green SO livery. I know a lot of people were, but for me, I much preferred, it might be worth Googling this, the 1996 BTCC 406, which was red and had like a little blue stripe going up the side of it saying 406. That is my favourite of the 406 BTCC liveries, and obviously we don't talk about the 2000s cars. But, yeah, so I get why this one's a classic, I get why people like it, but for me it's a little bit sort of too 90s, and I do prefer the red. Anyways, front engine, front wheel drive, 306 horsepower, 1,187 kilos. Gonna be interesting to see how this stacks up compared to its touring car brethren. This car is going to get 6 laps of the Motorsports Land track in order to set the best time it possibly can. Our current leader is the Mitsubishi GTO LM Edition 99. That car set a time of 27.017. The Peugeot 406 Sedan is very unlikely to beat that, and if it did, I would eat my fault. In terms of where this car is aiming for its other BTCC brethren, we've had the Ford Mondeo, that car's at a time of a 30.8, Nissan Primera, I think that was around a 31.1, Honda Accord as well, sort of similar time, 31.1, so if this can beat the 31.1s, which is sort of where most front-wheel drive saloon cars seem to go, it's on the right path. The 90s Primera, I think that's at a time like a 30.7, so I don't know if I'd expect this to be as quick as that, just because this is down on power. Other cars worth mentioning, Renault Laguna, that's at a time of a 30.6, and the Audi S4 is well and truly up the road. The Audi S4 set a time of like a 28.3 or something, so yeah. 406 is not going that far up the pecking order, it does have to be said. But still, first lap 39.939. That actually means this is a 963. That would make this one of the most average cars we've had around this course. Although I think the median time around this course is actually starting to drop. We've had some quick cars recently. The median time for the longest time was around a 30.9, but I think it's closer to about 30.7 now, is the median time across all cars. That's where the midpoint of the leaderboard is, so yeah. Very slightly worse than average. It is worth mentioning as well, although this is true of a lot of the BTCC cars, this does not have the benefit of turbocharging, as you can tell. And I remember this car in one of the license tests. You have to drive it around Rome, I think it is. And as much as it's, you know, fully upgraded and it's got the stage 3 tune in it and the exhaust mods and all that, I kind of like it because it's characterful of the car, but it does make one of the most sort of boring engine noises known to man. It really just sort of hum along and not really do much more than that, which is interesting. 30.712, that does beat the Mondeo actually. Surprising amount of grip from the front end on this, as he goes wide through there, completely sort of unproving his point. It is one of those cars you can just sort of keep your foot down, and eventually it does sort of seem to sort itself out, which is interesting. I'm very surprised this quick. To be fair, the Mondeo was a little bit sort of soft in the suspension, and the Primera just didn't quite have the power, whereas this seems to have a pretty decent sort of swing of power. It's nowhere near as quick as the 406 Coupe, but that's a pretty good time, to be fair. Actually, that's a very good time from the old 406. Was not expecting it to be that quick, but yeah. Look at it. Much like a modern Peugeot, it's got a big mouth to let you know it's happy about it. I say modern Peugeot. Peugeot hasn't made cars that look like that in a while, unless you count the 2008, which is hideous. Yeah, I mean, according to that, maybe it could have gone quicker. Yeah, I do think Sector 3 on that quickest lap was a little bit sloppy. I thought I was going to lose the lap time out of it there, but apparently not. No, that's pretty good from the old 406. A 30.712 will place this into 194th place. Goes in between the Mazda Familia Sportswagen and the Turismo 270R. It's quicker than Acura Integra Type R, although that went around ages ago. TRD 3000 GT. Quicker than the quickest standard MX-5 we've had, which is interesting. Quicker than the Lancia Y, Mugen S2000. As I mentioned, it is just under 100th of a second quicker than the Mondeo, and again, it's up the road from the Accord was tested forever ago, so maybe don't count that one because the Accord's going to come around again soon, and hopefully avenge itself. Me being a Accord fan, but there you go. Laguna's not too much further up the road as well. I think the Laguna's the quickest of the BTCC base cars we've had, as long as you don't include that Audi. So yeah, pretty good time from that. It's nowhere near the 96 Accord. That's what I should say, you know, that's like 0.4 up the road. But I'll stop simping for the Accord now. No, the 406 did a very good job, and I'm quite amazed I went through this entire episode without pointing out the fact the exhaust sort of pops in and out, which is really irritating. Anyways, that is it for this episode. Thank you all very much for watching. Join me next time when I'll be driving something completely different. Until then, farewell.